Hello there guys, my name is MrYorkiesWorld. We are on the ground at Catania in Sicily, runway 26 to be exact. And the airport ICAO for this particular airport is Lima India Charlie Charlie. And we're in the Cessna 172. Today's video is going to be very simple. We've got a nice little route set up, a nice VFR route. I'm going to take off here from runway 26. And then I'm going to enable, at the top here, the AI control to control the aircraft and take us on our route so that we can have a good look round and see the beautiful Sicily. And we're going to be going through the city of Catania as well, and then over onto sort of like the coastline, following the coast back into this particular airport, Catania. So it should be pretty nice. My geography is absolutely terrible, so if I'm pronouncing it wrong or saying it wrong or something else, just feel free to correct me in the comments. This is the first proper sort of flight with a start and a finish to it, rather than just showing off an area and that being it. So it's pretty exciting. Hopefully this video will be a little bit longer for those of you who like the longer videos as well. So let's get into the cockpit. Again, I'm going to take off normally and then just enable the AI. You can see if we go down here onto the display and I zoom out a little bit, this is basically the route. So we're here at Lima India Charlie Charlie. There's Catania, which is where we're going to be flying to. Then we're going to be flying to S2, Iblig, CC505, CC502 and back in to Catania Airport. So hopefully everything will go as planned and we'll be able to see some lovely scenery. What I'm also going to do is show off some of the cinematic shots that we are used to seeing in these requested videos as well. Sicily has been one of the main sort of things that have been requested, or areas that have been requested here on the channel, so I'm very happy to be showing the surrounding areas of that, specifically Catania, which is a really nice looking city. So without further ado, parking brake is released. I'm going to throttle up and we're going to try and get ourselves off the ground here in the 172. Really enjoying this aircraft so far. Not sure what the rotation speed is, but I'm sure we'll work that out when the aircraft starts wanting to take off, which sort of feels about now. So I'm going to rotate. There we go. Look at that. Absolutely beautiful. And we'll get to maybe 1,000 or maybe 500 feet before we enable AI to take over the aircraft. And it's going to be pretty interesting to see if the AI actually works well. Get rid of those flaps now. Let me see if we're going to be successful. So AI controlling the aircraft. Here we go. Now, is it going to follow the route that we've got or not? I'm not entirely sure whether it will. But nevertheless, if not, I'm sure we'll have to make some corrections. But you can just see how stunning the scenery really is. Here we go, we're making a right turn. Although I'm not happy with what's happening with this speed. So let's just take back control. And we can get some of that speed back. And we might have to just fly this manually, because I'm not really too fond of what's just happened with the autopilot or the AI control there. But that's okay, that's no problem. We can quite easily sort that out. So heading hold can be on, altitude hold can be on, and the autopilot can come on. And that will enable us now to fly as we wish, which is not exactly going to follow the route that we planned, but there we go. But look at that. Nice busy roads there. Again, I'm going to take a look at this a little bit closer up once we land. But absolutely gorgeous, look at that. Plenty of detail there. I did set up a camera for the... there we go, perfect. Just pull back the power a little bit. And one good feature, obviously, is this particular camera view. Look at that. Absolutely gorgeous. You can see we've got Yorkie on there. I will just change the heading a little bit, just so that we can see more of the sort of terrain rather than the ocean. And let's go to the showcase camera. You can set the focus to auto. And this, as always, is one of my favourite modes, which is the drone mode, or drone camera. Look at that. Absolutely gorgeous. Beautiful. You can see it's very, very built up. Look at all these details that we can see on the ground. Very, very built up. That's the city of Catania right there. Lots and lots of detail. Quite a little bit of stuttering going off in the sim, but I'm not surprised with the amount of detail. I mean, if I go back into the cockpit, we're dealing with sort of like 50, well, a maximum of 60 FPS. So that's not bad at all. I'm very, very happy with that. But look at that. Look at those buildings. I know I say look at that a lot, but I think this really does call for it. This is absolutely magnificent. And again, at the end of the video, I will be sure to do a cinematic section of all of this. I'm not an expert on geography, so I don't know the exact names of all these places or where exactly we are, but I know we're in Sicily somewhere. The boats are not actually 3D. Some of those are just literally just aerial sort of 2D images, which is a shame, but I suppose that can't be helped. So let's jump back into the cockpit. Oh, wrong button, but a nice view. Going to jump back into the cockpit now. And I'm going to set our heading to the east. I've got trusty little nav map running, so I know exactly, or roughly at least, where we are. Just look at that for a view. And we can just see how easy it's going to be. Look at the water effects down there across the shoreline with all the rocks and stuff. It's really, really lovely. We can see how easy it's going to be to make cinematic videos in FS 2020 with the camera. I mean, if I zoom in, look at that. Look how gorgeous that looks. So I'm using the Xbox remote again for the drone camera. Let me just go back into the cockpit, and we're going to turn right again to the south now. The drone camera does work in the cockpit itself, but the right, or should I say the Xbox remote or controller works well inside the cockpit, but only the right analog stick. If you try using the left one, it controls the aircraft. And maybe we can just do another turn to, I would say, southwest. just so that we can see a little bit more of that coastline. Maybe a bit more, there we go. But I cannot get over how we're getting 60 FPS inside of the cockpit, when quite honestly, and quite obviously, it's a very, very built up area. I mean, look at that. How gorgeous is that? We've got Yorkie on the back there. I've finally decided to actually start customising the ATC and what have you options. But absolutely gorgeous this is. So I'm going to put the remote down, the Xbox remote. We can jump back into the cockpit. And this was not exactly the route that I intended to take, but this is the one that we ended up taking. So the AI control doesn't always work the way that you expect it to, but again, this is a preview build of the simulator, so it'll be pretty unrealistic to expect everything to work absolutely flawless. So we're going to take off the autopilot now. And I'm going to do probably one of my failed landings. I'm not very good still with getting the hang of all the trim and stuff like that. I'm used to it all being automated with a lot of the aircraft that I fly. But there we go. We'll try our best to make this landing, and then I'll get up some cinematics to sort of show you what things look like. I'm going to put the flaps down. Probably shouldn't have put them down that much. I'm going to trim just a little bit. But I'm very, very happy. I mean, I don't do a lot of VFR flying, which is obviously why I'm so terrible at VFR flying, but there we go. I'd like to think the landings that I do are reasonable in the Cessna. I've spent quite a lot of time trying to perfect them, but they're still not perfect, and you know, they probably never will be, but there we go. I mean, look at the view though. Look how gorgeous this looks. If I wasn't too busy landing, I'd probably have a better look, but we're going to see those cinematics afterwards. Looking good on the Pappies. As we come in to land on the same runway that we departed, which I believe is runway 26. Yes, it is. There we go. So you do get a little bit of stutter, but that is expected. Right, I'm going to pull the throttles back now, and we'll try not to slam it in the ground too hard, at least. Pitch up just, there we go. Not perfect, but better than nothing. Oops, there's a bug. Wobbly runway, maybe a hole, a pothole that needs filling in. Right, and let's turn to the right here and get off the runway. You see, that was very, very nice. I enjoyed that. Even if the AI nearly killed us, I think we managed. And I've got no idea where I'm going to taxi to. But that is essentially it. We've just flown into and around Catania in Sicily. And essentially that's what this video was about. We're gonna take a look at some cinematic shots, a little bit more sort of close up, in just a second. So I will stop here, literally. You can take a look outside the aircraft. Probably bring those flaps up now, actually. But that was the short VFR flight to and from Catania Airport. So I will catch up with you guys in just a few moments with those cinematics, or should I say, I will leave you with those cinematics. Hope you enjoyed.